Haters, ¿cómo están? Espero que se encuentren de maravilla. Bienvenidos a otra sección de conversaciones desde el Inframundo. En esta ocasión tenemos el placer de hablar con Henry Derek, el guitarrista y vocalista de la banda de Doom, Sludge, Progressive, de muchos subgéneros, Qaalm, quienes recientemente, el día de hoy, Día de Muertos en México, lanzaron su segundo álbum de estudio titulado Grave Impressions of an Unbroken Arc a través de Hypaethral Records. Es un gran trabajo. Estaremos estrenando nuestra reseña en unos días. Entonces, comenzamos con nuestra entrevista. Henry, how are you, man? Thanks for being here for Conversations from the Underworld.
Well done, man. Yeah, thanks for the wonderful intro, and I'm hoping that you gave us nothing but the very best compliments. I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me, yeah, thanks for having me here today to represent the band Qaalm.
Yeah, man, it's my pleasure to have you here, and it's even more a pleasure for me because your new album that came out today, it's just fantastic. I have been listening to it over and over again. I love every song on the record, and I can't tell anymore in this moment, but huge congratulations. You totally created a piece of art, a great piece of art.
Thank you so much, man. Thanks for noticing, of course. I think we did. I really do. You know, I'm very, very pleased with the album, I must say. I'm not a proud man. I'm not a proud person, but I am very pleased with the album overall and what we accomplished. Because I was just thinking about that earlier today. It's like we had some hardships and it didn't come easy, but we got incredibly lucky with the overall production. And I knew the songs were going to be great, and I knew what we were capable of as musicians. But when you're in the studio and you're working with when you have hands on the record and you're working in various studios in rooms, that's where it gets really interesting. And sometimes it can be difficult to really maintain that vision throughout the recording process.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, you have a plan, but once you're in the studio, I mean, you just have to kind of go a little with the flow, following the plan, but just adding some of the gut that you got when you're in there.
Yes, of course. I mean, it's a leap of faith as well. You really have to trust. You have to trust your instincts. Trust. Here's the thing: you can't always trust the people you're working with, but trust your instincts. Trust your, trust that the path that you're on is one of integrity. And stick with that. I think we did that, man. I'm glad that like I said, we got extremely lucky, and we did have the luxury of working with some really talented, incredibly professional engineers, people on the record as well. That always helps.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it should be that way. It should be always something that enhances the experience and the outcome of all that process.
Yeah. Again, man, thank you for your kind words on the album. I'm glad that you enjoy it. It'd be interesting to get your take on the record in terms of just which songs you like, and which sections like move you, or what. I don't know. It's always like just really interesting. From my perspective, I guess, from the artist, the musician, the band, right? All of us within the band we're excited that people now finally get to listen to the album.
Yeah, man. Actually, my review will come out on Sunday, so
okay.
Definitely you will be able to check it out.
Awesome, right on, man.
Great, man. So there, if you don't mind, we will start with the first question I got for you, and this first question is courtesy of an amazing artist. She is Leila Abdul Rauf, and the question she asked is this one: what is your most memorable moment on stage Where were you, and what's the story behind it? It could be the most embarrassing thing, the most insane, excited, ridiculous, whatever it comes to mind.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of an easy one because I always go back to CBGB's in New York.
Okay.
You know, obviously it's a notorious venue that has a lot of history
History.
within not only rock culture but you know, a lot of different, like, I mean, it just screams, you know, New York. And you know, everyone from Blondie to the Ramones to, I mean, everyone's played there. It's just a legendary venue, and its legacy lives on today. I got to
Oh.
play CBGB's like the last year it closed, and
Mm.
I was on tour with my first band, Lilitu, and we were on the End Records, and we were on tour with interesting tour. We were on tour with God Dethroned,
Oh.
out of the Netherlands, I believe. Night Rage out of Sweden. We were there was like a hardcore, like metalcore kind of band on the bill called Hell Within at the time. It was an interesting tour, but yeah, playing that show, being in New York, getting to experience CBGB's. It was such a great show, such a great night. The energy in the room, everything about it was um, fantastic. It was electric. You know, you could feel the energy, and it was such a good vibe. And you know, it's, to be honest, it was such a shitty kind of venue. You know, it was it was not like, the sound wasn't good. You know, it's just, but that that legacy, that legend, that energy, it just felt good. It felt right, and we were in, you know, we were in a good place as a band at the time, and I just have really good memories, you know, and always go back to that one show.
Yeah,
And
just an iconic place.
yeah, and I'm probably leaving a part of the question out. I apologize.
Don't worry, man. Actually, you just check all the boxes on that
Oh, cool.
very naturally.
Right on.
Great, man. Just the whole experience of playing at CBGB's. Yeah, that's kind of a hit, I mean, for every band, because it's such an iconic place. Well, was an iconic place. And as you say, the big ones, the really, really big ones, most of them play there in one occasion at least. And it's great that you got to play there, and you know, kind of a dream come true, right?
Well, it is, but you know, again, it's just that that's my take on it. You know, it's like my, like I, it's interesting because I've played like some really nice theaters, some really cool venues, like huge venues. I've played hockey stadiums and other bands I've been in, and you know, huge arenas, you know,
Yeah.
in festivals, and I got to do, you know, gotten to play in you know, in Europe and some of the festivals, and you know, all of that stuff is great too. But that one show, you know, was very special to me personally, and again, that one I always go back to. Just good memories.
Yeah, man. I bet those are good memories. Thanks a lot for your answer, man. And the next question I got for you is this one. Many people can assume that doom and progressive metal are subgenres that belong to very different sides of the metal spectrum, even opposite sides. But somehow you have managed to pull out that combination in a fantastic way. What was the hardest part of creating pieces with such varying influences?
The hardest part for me, and I think a lot of bands, you know, that kind of have these very long, drawn out, intricate kind of pieces, is just time. You know, carving out the time, making the time, making the money so you can make time, so you can have time, so you can go in the studio to have time and record the record. Time is my enemy, and time is never on your side. You know, and it's funny to think about because we have these long you know, sprawling epic songs.
Yeah.
And, you know, it requires a lot of time, attention, and effort just to sit down and listen to these things. So you can only imagine what goes into creating them and crafting them.
Yeah, of course.
You know, Dave, the drummer, and I, we just spent a shit ton of time really crafting them, really writing riffs and documenting riffs, and you know, getting in the rehearsal room and hashing it out and jamming on stuff and seeing what we liked and what works. And we'd record everything and we'd listen back to the rehearsal recordings and try to come up with like a mini demo, a mini version of the song, you know, to some degree. I would come, you know, I would come back home and I'd work on all the parts, all the riffs here, and I'd try to put everything together in a cohesive way, in a way that I thought really made sense from a songwriting aspect. And that takes a lot of time too, because, you know, I may have an idea for a lyric or a vocal melody or something, but you know, I have to go back and look at the song from a completely different perspective. You know, I have to put the guitar down and really sit down and put pen on paper and really kind of craft, you know, just songwriting and vocal composition and phrasing and the lyrics. I mean, this is, it's such a beast when you have, you know, songs like this. I mean, to write a great song is a science anyway. It's
Yeah.
not easy. It is difficult. And you know, I think it just comes. It comes with time, but you have to spend the time, and that's certainly what we did. You know, we spent a lot of time, Dave and I, and then when we recruited Minsu, our lead guitarist, when he came into the fold, we really had to reassess and reevaluate the songs from that standpoint, because you know, we knew that he had something special to offer, and we also knew that the songs would develop based upon his skills and his background and, you know, his tones and all that kind of stuff. And we spent a lot of time with him, and he spent a lot of time with me. He and I did pre-production, and he's proven to be invaluable on so many different levels, because he was, you know, willing to spend the time. And you know, I know there's bands out there with 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people in the fucking band, but how many
Yeah.
of those guys are actually doing this stuff?
Yeah, contributing. Yeah.
You know, it's I mean, you know, the first album we had 6 people. At one time I think we had 7 people or something crazy like that. And then we had 5, and then we had 4. And you know, we had several players in and out of the room during the writing of this record. And we decided that, well, the band's going to be the 3 people that are actually contributing, that are doing this stuff, that are spending the time, that are really committed and invested in this. And like I said, even though we had bass players in and out of the room, we never had a 4th person within the making of this record that we felt deserved to be part of the process, you know, because so many people, they want to be part of the process. I mean, I'm sorry, they don't want to be process, but they want to be part of the outcome. They want to say, oh yeah, no, yes, I recorded on that record, and I played in the studio, and I was in the video, and it's like they want to see their name in lights, they want all the glory, but they don't want to spend the time. It all goes back to the time that we were talking of earlier. But long-winded answer to your question, man. You know, I could go on and on. It takes time to come up with something truly significant, important, artistic, beautiful, ugly, you know, everything that the record is. It just it's a beast, even though it's 4 songs, 46 minutes, 45 minutes, however long it is. You know, yeah, and it's one of those things that I can listen to as a listener and think, wow, you know, the songs don't feel that long to me, and then they certainly don't feel that long when we're playing them live either.
No, man. And actually, it's funny that you mentioned, and the main idea that you just said is time, because as you said, the songs are long. The album is just a four-piece album, but as much as the songs are long and the album, if you just look at the length of the songs on the back cover, you could say, "Oh no, this will take too much time to listen." But actually, as you say, when you're listening to the songs, you don't even realize that the time is passing because they are so well written, they are so well timed, and the feeling on them, the lyrics, the riffs, the melodies are so catchy and are so well connected with each other that time really flies while you're listening to the album. I mean, I have been listening to him while walking to home, in the shower, when I'm swiping the floors, when I just sit and concentrate on the album, and time really flew, and that's not an easy thing to accomplish. So it's fantastic that, and you should be very very proud of the time you spent creating this monster, you and Dave, because the outcome, it's definitely something that should be highlighted in many years to come, because it's a great album, and I have a hell of a time listening to it. I still have I still have time having a very good time listening to it, because the songs are so very well crafted that it's impossible to not find something to like in each of the songs.
Right on, man. Well, that's wonderful to hear. And you know, I hope that people are not overwhelmed by the lengths of the songs.
Yeah, they need to listen to them, because that's when you find out that it doesn't matter how long they are. They have lots of things to like, and they are pieces of art.
Yeah, yeah. I I I think a lot of people will listen, just as you said, simply listen to it and experience it themselves. And you know, I don't, I guess there are some people out there in the world that want to sit down, you know, experience a film or read a book, and they want to know the length is important to them. Like, you know, they want to
Yeah,
know what they're in for. They want to be able to mentally prepare, wrap their head around it, right?
yeah,
Which is cool. I mean, that's fine. But you know, as I've always said, that songs are as long as they need to be. You know, a film is as long as it needs to be sometimes.
yeah,
Most of the time, you know, if
yeah.
it's you know, if it's from that singular director's, you know, vision, you know, I think it's just one of those things that I just hope people don't think about too much. I hope it doesn't scare people away, you know, because as I said, like, it's the songs are as long as they need to be. Each song is a journey. It's a roller coaster
Exactly,
ride, you know.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well put on words. That those songs are journeys, and they are worth experiencing them, because I mean, those journeys definitely take you to somewhere.
Right on. Cheers, man.
Cheers to you, man. The next question I got for you is this one. The songs on this new album are chameleonic and shape shifting in every aspect of them. What's the definitive factor when deciding if you need to add some more layers to a song or remove some of them?
I think there are different factors there. You know, when you're writing and when you're composing, that's the bare bones of the song. That's kind of the basic infrastructure, like a template. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
pre-pro is the demo you want to have when before you go into the studio to know that, like, yes, we have the song. Here's the song. Here's the skeletal version of the song, with a few layers here and there. But you know, you'll be goes back to time, because you only have so much time. You have to kind of just know sonically what you want to hear in the end product, so to speak.
Yeah.
So, you know, we did a lot of textures, Minsu and I, with, you know, mostly like guitar effects pedals, and you know, it some things worked and some things didn't work, but you know, I like throwing everything at the wall, you know, within reason,
Yeah,
and seeing what sticks. But I also have a pretty good idea of what I want the sonic landscape to sound like, to feel like. Because sometimes, you know, it's you'll record something that's in the mix and you'll feel it more than you will hear it.
of course.
And that might be difficult for some people to grasp, but you know, it's just got to fit the mood of the piece or the section of that particular song. I think as of right now, I think it's kind of what we do as a band. Like Qaalm has those soundscapes, textures, whether it be ambient sounds or I don't know, darker subterranean kind of droney sounds, and even really subtle things. If we're, you know, a lot of vocal stuff too.
Yeah,
You know, where it's just you know, I mean the voice is such an important instrument in this band as well. We did not get to really go down that road too much on the first album, but
yeah.
I kind of realized that that you know, we could do so much more vocally with this particular record, and then so you know, I did rely on my voice quite a bit for a lot of like the you know, background layers and harmonies and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
because you know, that's just fun. You know, anytime I get to craft um a supporting vocal kind of thing that works, you know, it's always a win.
Yeah, man, and definitely, as you were saying, comparing to the first album to this new one, yeah, the voices, the use of the growls and the clean voices are fantastic. It's kind of a very fun game between them because you can feel the chemistry between them. They are rough. You're rough when you need to be. You are kind of subtle when you need to be, and those aspects of your voice fall into the right places on every song, and they have this kind of communion with the instrumental parts of the songs that makes them sound great, and definitely they make the feeling on the album and the the significance of the lyrics shine throughout the entire song. That is a hell of a work. Actually, I need to especially congratulate you for the work on the voice because as a singer, I can tell that what you did is not easy to accomplish, and it's not easy to reflect the feelings and the ideas behind the lyrics in songs of this nature.
It's not easy for most people, you know, and I gotta say it's gotten a little easier for me to make the vocal transitions between
Yeah,
um the different parts, well, or just finding the placement in my voice. Like, okay, here's the black metal scream, here's the lower mid-rangey death metal voice, here's my, you know, here's my baritone kind of gothy, you know,
yeah,
uh um thing, you know, oh, okay, right here, you know, I want to do like a use, you know, I want to use my um chest voice or whatever, you know. It's just
yeah.
like it's got a little easier for me to navigate and to really I think that comes with confidence and stuff, but you know,
Definitely.
it's also like somewhat hard for me. um it just depends. Like I have a respiratory condition, and I struggle with my breathing and all that good stuff, and
And me
it
too.
it but you know, it's, I think when you're in the song and you're just, or in the studio and you, or playing it live, you know, you're in the moment and you just power through and you do it, and that's a huge part of it too, just you know, being in the game, right?
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, I feel you, man. Feel you. Thanks a lot for your answer, man. The next question I got for you is this one. Feeling is the aspect that I highlight the most, or at least one of the aspects that I highlight the most on this new album. It's definitely what hooked me to every song. Where does it come from? Where does this feeling come from for this album?
Well, lots of feelings, no shortage of emotions on this album. And you can hear it as a listener, and hopefully you can feel it. And, hopefully people delve into the lyrics and interpret each song in the way that, they feel it themselves,
Mm-hmm.
I did an in-depth track by track synopsis kind of review of each song lyrically on decibelmagazine.com for anyone interested in the lyrical content. I did an interview the other day and the guys asked me about the lyrics and I was just like, in the moment it's like, I can't go there, man. I just did this in another interview and it's like, oh, just figure it out or we can talk about it another time.
What about if you tell me what you
Yeah,
thought about?
exactly. And it's like, well, I can tell you what the songs are not about. And, I avoided every possible cliche, that we touched on the first record, really. And, we're not Nile or we're not Mastodon. We don't sing about mythical beasts,
Yeah,
or ancient mythology in that realm, or stuff like that. It's like, well, there's a lot of cool shit lyrically. You have to dig in there, and I think that's the beauty of it. It's like, don't tell me you saw the movie. Tell me you read the book, right? You took time. You spent some time with this. Um, a lot of emotions, man, and it's a very angry record in many aspects.
but
Because there's
also
a lot of,
cathartic.
yeah, and there's a lot. It's cathartic, but um, it's there's a lot of, I allowed myself to be vulnerable, um, and there's a lot of stuff within the record that's very personal, but hopefully it's written in a way that people can truly relate to, because it's more or less this the ups and downs, the trials and tribulations we have from day to day in our various relationships with people,
Yeah,
currently or in the past, or um, it's human nature in a nutshell, and that's what that's what I wanted to really get into. I wanted to get in. Um, I just want to get in the headspace of writing something that's meaningful, that other people can latch on, that they can relate to.
mm-hmm.
But I tried to be as poetic as possible. I tried to, put a lot of my influences and inspirations, whether it's, yeah, I mean, I have, I tried to like think about literature and poetry and prose and, you know, um, that's a different thing in itself, when
Yeah,
you put pen to paper, but sometimes a lot of things just spill out, when you're when you're writing without music, or maybe you're trying to, maybe you have a piece of phrasing and you're trying to fit that specific lyric into that song, and you're trying to use that melody you want, it's like it doesn't always work. Sometimes you have to rewrite stuff, and I think subconsciously things come as well, where it's just like, well, I really am, I wasn't thinking that line, I wasn't thinking about this, but this is how I truly feel. I'm feeling this way now. So it's just an interesting thing, altogether. I think, because um, we're talking about the overall emotion, the emotional aspects of the record. Um, certainly, musically, a lot of the things that we a lot of the things I wrote, a lot of the things that Dave and I worked out. Um, the journey had to really it had to make sense within the journey, you know, because the songs are not one dimensional. There's a lot of hills and valleys, you know, and there's a rise and fall, there's a darkness and there's a light. There are a lot of colors within, you know.
Of course.
Yeah, and you're gonna feel that when you listen to the record, man. And I think that's the beautiful thing about art, is that, you know, we don't have to know where it comes from. You know, these feelings, you know, it's that mystique, that it's very mysterious. It's this otherworldly kind of thing
Just
that
experience it.
we will never truly understand, you know. But I'm gonna shut up now.
No, man, that was a great answer. Thanks a lot for that. And yeah, those songs are not one dimensional. Actually, they are shapeless, if you ask me, because they change with time. They change every time you're listening to them, and they change depending on the mood while you're listening, depending on the place you are with, the people you are with. It depends on the scenario, and that's also the beauty of them, because they can adapt to the situation where you are at the moment you're listening to them, and you will find something in them that will comfort you, encourage you, make you sad, make you angry, make you happy even.
Yep.
So that's great, having a song that has so many faces that many people can relate to. It's a terrific accomplishment.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Well, that's what I like. Yeah, that's the kind of art I like. Those are the kind of films I like. That's the kind of music I enjoy. Multi-layered. You know, it's it just it's it's this thing that you don't have to dissect. You know,
Yeah,
you don't have to think about it. Just you know, take the journey.
yeah, man, exactly, completely, 100% agree with you. And Henry, those are all the questions I got for you. Thanks a lot for your answers. Are very thoughtful answers. I'm pretty sure most of the people who watch this video will be very interested in what you have to say about your work in this album and your creative process, and what you share with us behind that creative process. And now, as we speak before we start, we spoke before we start recording, please help me out with a question that I can use with my next guest here in Conversation from the Underworld. Can be anything you like: music, literature, cinema, food, I don't know, whatever you want.
Yeah, that's, you know, it's kind of a tough one. I mean, I know you're like you're you're giving me the freedom to essentially ask any any question,
Yeah.
but you're also putting me on the spot. So you know, it might be boring to a lot of people, but for me, I would say, um, I always like questions about, you know, books or films or places, like, you know, travel. I guess my question is, what name five things that inspire you. It could be a place you've been. It could be an album that you like, a film that you like, a book that you like. But give me five things of inspiration, that have shaped you as a person, that have shaped you in your formative years as a musician, as an artist, as a creative person. Um, but it has to be five things that you never outgrew. You know, that just will forever stick with you,
Yeah.
and that really kind of, I guess, overall encapsulates what you how you go about your life as a creative person.
Oh man, that will be very nice to hear from the next guest, because I think we will extend this part of the next interview, because I'm pretty sure there will be a lot to talk about. So that's a great question. Thank you a lot, Henry.
You know, it's a very basic question, but I think it's one of those things that um it allows that person to like loosen up and not maybe think a little more and maybe
Yeah,
not, answer the same questions
the
about,
standard
here's the same
answer.
12 questions, about the album or the record or whatever they're doing, whatever they're working on. It's like,
Of course.
I don't know. It's interesting. It might be a bit too long-winded as well. It's like 5 things. Come on. How about 3?
Yeah, man, definitely will be. I will have a great time hearing those answers. So, Derek, I can thank you enough for your time. Thanks a lot for being such a cool guy, for open up to us and let us know about your thinking and your creative nature. And let me say goodbye to the haters, and I will ask if you have something to say to them. Haters, eso es todo lo que tenemos en esta entrevista con Henry Derek, el vocalista y guitarrista de la banda Qaalm. Acuérdense, sacaron su más reciente de álbum este día 1 de noviembre a través de Hypaethral Records, su álbum Great Impressions of an Unbroken Arc. Escúchenlo, realmente es un trabajo que vale mucho la pena. Hey, Henry, do you have something to tell to the haters here in the Haters channel?
All the haters in Hatersville. All right. Yeah, man, I guess just definitely pick up the record. Our new album, Grave Impressions of an Unbroken Arc, is out today, November 1st. Grab it from us via Bandcamp. Grab it from our label, Hypaethral Records. It's out there. So, ask Google, do what you need to do. And yeah, keep on keeping on. Thanks for your time, everybody.
Thank you, Henry. See you later, man. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thanks, Mario.
Bye.
Appreciate it.